Now we're going to move on to the double letter butter. So let's scroll to the word 06. We're going to quickly see here. Alright, for the double letters and also the triple letters, there is a special macro for each. So we have here the double letter setup and the triple letter setup, which is here, over here. And it's not complicated to understand this one. We're going to quickly see what each of these variables represent. We're going to use the letter butter here to explain a little bit easier what these variables represent. So for this particular event, it tells the game that this letter should be clicked after one of these letters has been clicked. In this case, for the letters T, which are the double letters on this butter word, the previous letter to be clicked is U. And in the order of this word, U is letter number 2. So we're going to connect letter 02 on these knots. For the previous letter space, it tells this event that these letters should only be clicked when the previous letter or letters that we connected here are already on the letter space, which is this space. And in here we're telling the game the current word that we are at, which will be word 06, as you can see here. The current button, the current letter will be, in this case, letter T. And in here, these last letter spaces, we're telling the game that the spaces, the letter spaces here, 3 and 4, are the ones that should be filled with the letter T, in this case. Alright, so we're going to start adding our word butter. First will be letter B. We connect it here and also here. The next letter is U, but we can see here that we have a double letter connected. So we're going to disconnect this one because U is not the double letter. And for current button, this is the node that should will connect here, the get node. And we change this one to word 06 because this is the current word that we are working on. And we connect the U letter here. It is. And in here, the previous letter node, we're going to look for the text variable letter 01 because this is letter 02, so obviously the previous one will be letter 01. This one here we can find it on word configuration. Here it is, the variable on word configuration. Alright, moving on to the third. I'm going to bring this here. To the third letter will be the double ones, T, and we're going to remove these ones because we don't need them. So let's connect it. And we're going to make the necessary changes needed here. Alright. So right now we're going to customize the first T, which will be the third letter in this word. Let's find letter T, and we connect it here. Right. Okay, the reason why there are two previous letter order variable is for the cases that double letters are separate. Like for example, in the word letter, we can see here. In here we can see that there are two double letters, letter E and letter T. We can see here that the letters E are separated. So in this case, for each E, the previous letters will be L and also T. So we're going to be connecting L, which will be letter 01. We're going to connect it here. And T, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth previous letter, we're going to connect it here. And in here, the previous letter spaces, of course, we're going to guide ourselves with this one. So for example, if we here connect the letter 01, the letter space that should be connected here will be space 01. And in here we are connecting the letter 04. For the case of the letter word, we're going to connect here word 04. And moving down for the letter spaces, these ones, as you can remember, are the spaces for the double letters. In this case, E, we're going to be connecting here. The first E is the second letter in the word, so we're going to connect 02, and the second E, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will be connecting space 05 in here. So that's why there are two previous letter order variables. In this case, when the double letters are together, like in the example of butter, we only need to consider the previous letter that is not double, which will be the letter U. So the order of U in the word is 2. We're going to find here number 2. Okay. Alright, and here we're going to substitute letter 05 for 2 as well. And we're going to delete this one because we don't really need it. And in here we're going to look for the letter space 02 as well. We can find that one in here in game configuration. Let's scroll down. Here it is. So we connect it here. We delete these ones because we don't need them. And we're going to connect it here as well. This we don't need to change. This one here, the current button, please remember that will be this one. We're going to connect this get node to here. And on these ones, we're going to connect the letter spaces for the two T's, which will be 3 and 4. So let's find it here, 3 and 4, letter space 03 and letter space 04. Perfect. And this one here, we don't have to make any change. It's correct the way it is, duplicate letter. And we're going to be moving to the to the fourth one, which will be letter T once again. So we're going to remove this one here because we don't need it. We're going to remove this here. And what we're going to do, because it's the same configuration we have here, what we're going to do is just duplicate it, copy paste. We're going to connect the get node over this macro, And the change that we'll be doing here, we're not going to be adding for the second t, we're not going to use the letter t variable because we are already using it here. What we're going to use is these ones over here, letter duplicate 01. Because if you come here and connect the letter T once again, then in this space you will only have one T because the button itself cannot duplicate. You cannot call it twice. So that's why we're going to use these variables over here. They exist only for these double letter cases and the triple letters as well. Alright, let's not forget to also connect this variable over here. Here it is. Let me see if I connect it here. And let's move on to the last. We're missing two more letters. Alright, the order will be 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth letter. In here it's already correct. We don't need to make any changes, only one. We're going to see it in a second. So let's find letter E, connect it here, and let's connect it here. I apologize for the bird that is singing outside my window. Alright, the change that we're going to make is on this variable. We're not going to use the letter 04 variable. We're going to use the duplicate letter variable, the text variable. Why? Because we cannot assign an order for these two letters, a specific order, because the player should have the availability to click either of the two T's. Because if he decides to click this T first, the one that is being represented by letter duplicate 01, it will be correct to click it first, or if he decides to click first this one here, this button here, it is also correct to click it because at the end both represent the same letter that goes after the letter U. Also, something that I just remembering that I did not show in here is that we need to assign the value for this variable, because these are additional variables that we use for the cases of duplicate letters. So this part here is telling the game that the letter that we're going to add here, in this case T, is the value that this button should be showing. Okay, let's see. So we were here. As I was telling you, we need to change this variable to the duplicate variable. We're going to find it here. Here it is, duplicate letter. There it is. Now, for the last letter, which is R, we're going to remove this double. We're going to remove only this one, only this part here. We're going to remove it because this is not a double letter. And we're going to bring the 6 letter 06 setup macro over here. And the current letter will be R. We're going to connect it here. Substitute. We're going to connect it here. There it is. And also we're going to connect this one here. I like to keep it as organized as possible. And this is giving me an error because I don't have anything connected here. In here, it is correct to connect letter 05 text variable. We're going to look it up. Here it is. Connect. Now let's click compile and save. Compile, save. There it is. Perfect. And this one that we have additional, we're going to disconnect it because butter is a 6-letter word. We're going to bring the points gained macro here and let's connect it. Perfect. So our double letter is already customized. We already have it here added correctly. And now we're going to move on to the triple letter, which will be believe. Alright, let's begin adding the letters. First will be B. We connect it here. The second one is E, which is one of the additional, which is one of the triple letters. I mean, one of the E's here. Yeah. So we're going to delete this one here because this is not the correct one that we need. This is not the one that we need. And we're going to look for that triple letter setup macro. Ready. This one, so you can see, is longer than the previous one. This one is longer because, as we can see here, we have 2 for each of the double letters. And in here, we have 3 for each of the triple letters. We have 3 of previous letter, we have 3 of previous letter space, and we have 3 of the current letter space. Alright, so let's customize it. Let's add all the variables that we need to add here. We're connecting the first E. I'm going to connect it here. Let's find it, sorry, find it. Here it is. And we're also going to connect it here. And for the current button, we already know that is this get not here. Alright, so we already have that connected. In here for current word, we're going to change it. We already know that is word 07. There it is. It gives you an error because we don't have all the variables connected in here, so that's okay. We're going to get rid of that once we have everything properly connected. For the first E, well, actually for all of the E, sorry, the first previous letter will be the 01, which is B. Because we can see that E is the second letter in this word, and the previous one will be obviously 01. The second E now comes after I. 1, 2, 3, 4. I is the fourth letter in the word believe. We connected here, the fourth one. And the third previous letter for the letters E is B. So this is 4, 5, 6 will be the order of B. And here it is. Perfect. Now we're going to connect the previous letter spaces, which will be 1, 4, and 6. Let's find those. 1, 4, and 6. So we're going to bring each one and connect it. see 146, 146. And now we're going to make the last connections here. Well, for this side, then we're going to connect these ones. These spaces, as you can remember, are for the triple letters, this case E. So we're going to find out the order for each E in this word. Great. And in here, as I was explaining on the double letter, we need to give the player the availability to click either of the E's. So if he wants to click the third E, he should be able to click it. If he wants to click the first E for the second triple letter, he should be able to do it. Or if he wants to click the first E for the third triple letter, he should be able to do it, because at the end, the three are E's. So in this case, we're going to connect 3 times that duplicate letter. We're going to set it. Set. There it is. And we got rid of the error because everything is already connected properly. Now moving on to the third letter, L. We're going to remove this triple one. Also, something that I am just seeing right now on this one. For this case, because the last letter of this word is a triple letter, there's special macro for points gain. As you can see it here, points gain, double and triple setup. So we're going to disconnect it from here. We're going to delete these ones, because we don't actually need this. Okay, there it is. So as I was telling you, remember that when triple and also double, because this macro works for both double and triple, so when you have a double or triple letter as the last letter in the word, this macro should be connected on each one of the triple letter setup macro. And in here, for letter space, we're going to take in consideration that the order of the last triple letter. I think you're going to hear my dog eating in the background. Sorry for that as well. Anyways, for the last E, the order is 7, so we're going to change this one to space 07. Here it is. Perfect. Now let's move on to the letter L. Will be the third letter. We're going to look for the macro letter 03. There it is. We're going to connect this one here. We're going to change this one because we are currently in the word 07, so we're going to change it to 07. And the current letter is L. There it is. Great. Now let's move on. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add this variable here. Will be duplicate because the previous letter is a duplicate E. Now we're going to configure the letter I. We're going to remove this. Well, we're going to remove this, but we're not going to delete it because we're going to need it later on for the other two E's. Perfect. E is the fourth letter. Letter 04 setup. I forget it. There it is. Current button. Word 07 and letter I. Substitute I, and the previous letter is the L, letter 3. Great. Now let's move on to the second duplicate. We're going to bring this here because we need to connect it. As I explained before, these two variables are empty. The buttons for these two variables is empty, so we need to assign the value in here. Word E, we're going to delete these nodes, and we're going to copy paste this configuration here because it's the same for the 3 E's. And we're going to connect the current button in here. Let's leave it like that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that for now. And the variable to connect here will be letter duplicate 01, and we connect it here. There it is. Now let's move on. Where is my... Here it is. Now we're going to configure letter V. We bring V here. We connect it here. And we're going to change the letter text variable to duplicate letter. And now we are in the last letter. By the way, did I? No. Please remember to change here the value. In this case will be E. And here we already have the correct value here. Alright. And basically I think, well, we're going to delete this. Delete and bring the triple letter setup configuration here. Out here. And connect the current button. And if you can see here, the letter duplicate 02, it's already connected, so we don't have to look for it. So here's the triple letter configuration.